What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Glad to be with y'all on this Friday night. See, a couple of y'all have already beat me to the spot. Glad to see y'all, man. Do your big brother a favor as you enter the room. Be sure to hit that like button as you come in. That's all I ask for you to do, man. Your big brother ain't greedy. I don't ask for much. Just a few likes. We're going to go into this topic tonight. But what has evolved out of my live streams in the past year or so, I would say, is the point that I have to make this rule before we start. And it's a real simple rule. The rule just simply states that we are going to stay on topic. Please be respectful that any comments that you make in the chat are directly related to the topic at hand. We're not going to deal with any off-topic statements and questions and conversations. We're going to keep it on topic. That's why open topic is done on the nights when I open it up and y'all can talk about whatever y'all want to talk or ask me whatever y'all want to ask. But tonight, y'all see the title, and that's what we're going to deal with, because America is in a funny place right now, and not ha-ha funny, but just a weird, bad place right now, because we're starting to see so much ramping up of these events where people are going in and losing it and shooting up everybody and killing everybody. And every time this happens, the first thing that starts to be posed are different questions, different scenarios, different theories. And I'm a person who kind of believes that there could be some truth in all of the theories, but each theory, each situation is not relegated to one special theory. Like, everything that happens, in my opinion, is not because of the same thing. Some of it might be, but not all of it. So when you see what we saw in the last month or so, we've seen 3 mass shootings, right? We saw Buffalo, we saw Uvalde, Texas, and we just saw the one that took place in Oklahoma. And typically, a lot of people who kind of tune in on these things and they've kind of formulated their own views of it, they'll say, well, man, I'll tell you, man, it's a conspiracy, man. It's like, you know, it's MK Ultra. It's the government. It's this, you know, all these different theories that come out of what people say. So we're going to tackle some of that stuff. I don't know if I see there's a few of y'all in here. Let me ask a question. We'll do a quick little poll. Remember to hit the like button for your big brother. But we're going to do a quick poll because I want to ask y'all some questions. I want to see what y'all's answers are to these questions. In the last month or so, with these mass shootings, I just want to see a show of hands. Everyone who believes that the mass shootings that happen, if y'all believe that they are staged, not even real, just staged, crisis actors, the whole bit. If you believe that they are staged, just give me a show of hands. Then I'll follow it up with the next question. Just trying to get a gauge on the minds of the people. If you believe that it's staged, none of this stuff is real. These people are still alive. The shooter is just an actor and all this. If you believe that Just give me a hand. Okay, it's kind of light on that front. I'm gonna wait for a minute. Somebody says staged or probably staged or didn't happen. Yeah, that's okay. I'll take that as a yes. The EIFs. Let me see. Okay, hold your horses. If you don't think that is staged, if you don't hold, because I'm getting to that. If you believe that these events and these individuals, that it's not staged, but you believe that they are carried out by people who have been manipulated in some form mentally by some form of government control, whether it be MK Ultra or hypnosis. If you believe that these people have been mentally controlled by government or something, let me see a show of yes or hands or whatever. Just say yes or a hand up or whatever, some kind of sign to say that. Because these are the schools of thought. It's only a few schools of thought. So you got stage, you got government control. Now a lot of people, let me see, are kind of kicking in on the government control. MK Ultra has been used heavily lately. Okay, I mean, we're gonna get into that. All right. Mind control, spiritually controlled. All right. Just asking the question. All right. Now the last question is, it ain't that many people on here, so we'll get a. How many people on here believe that these are just isolated incidents where individuals are flipping out due to either mental illness or just some form of societal dissatisfaction? That's the third. How many of y'all believe that, man, these people that are doing this, they just got something going on. They just something wrong with them up here. And or just some people who just become so dissatisfied with the way things are working that they just become radicalized and they just lose it. Show of hands on that one. Because before we go into the conversation, we want to kind of see, and it seems to be an even mixture of beliefs, which is interesting. And my thing is, I feel like it's a little bit of all except for the staged part. I'm not saying that there are things that get presented to us that couldn't be staged, because I don't put anything past this system. I don't put anything past them. But in certain cases, I look at certain things, and from my own viewpoint and my own opinion, I don't believe that these things are staged. And understand there's a difference between planned and staged. Planned to mean, yeah, they planned it to actually happen. Staged means, like we know, it's fake. It's drama. It's acted out. It's not even real. Mental illness is a real thing. But so is mind control. The government has a history of mind control. And many people think they know how they do it. Some people just keep it real, saying we don't know how they do it. We don't know what types of technologies that they have that they use when they get somebody in an isolated situation that they impose on the minds of those individuals. We don't know unless you know. But I do believe that those things actually happen. There have been multiple incidents throughout the history of the United States where it's been accused that there's some kind of mind control going on. The Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, they claim that he was an absolute MK Ultra subject. This guy was the Unabomber. He was blowing stuff up. They claimed that he was under some kind of mind control. Lee Harvey Oswald, they claimed that he was under some kind of mind control. They even said that Jack Ruby, the guy who shot him, was under some kind of mind control. So it's sketchy. But the question is, if they were under mind control, if some of these people were under some kind of mind control, we can't stop on just agreeing that, yeah, they were, if that's what you believe. The better question would be, why were they under that kind of control? What was the purpose of it? Why? Who did it? Okay, we'll say government did it. Why? It goes back to the word that we hear so much in today's society, and that is the word agenda. When there's an agenda in place and that agenda is set and it absolutely has to be brought about, then they will do whatever they got to do. Use whoever they have to use in order to fulfill that agenda. So if there is a political figure who is shaking things up in a way that they don't want things to be shaken up, he's putting out a message that they don't want to be put out, then what's called a patsy will be formulated. An individual will be shaped and programmed to go out and carry out that work. Because this individual that we're targeting, he is playing with our agenda. But what makes that individual a threat to the agenda? You know what makes him a threat to the agenda? The fact that people are starting to latch on to him and he's starting to have influence over people and people are following him. That's what makes him a threat to the agenda. So it's all linked. They got a plan. This cat comes along and starts to do things and speak things that go against that plan. They don't really care about him doing that until they see the people starting to connect to him. Now he's a problem. Because we, meaning the powers, we want control over the minds of those people. We are the ones who want control over their minds, right? So that's a war. It's a war to see who wins the prize, and the prize is the minds of the people. So in that war, they're willing to do whatever they got to do in order to take out the enemy who is preventing them from gaining that kind of control. And that's operating, that's happening on a bunch of levels. We'll get into a few of them, or as many of them as we can, because I don't plan to hold y'all up a long time tonight. But in the meantime, y'all hit that like button for your brother. Let's get this balance up, man. See? Many of us walk around every day in a naive state of mind, and we don't even believe. We don't believe that the government is capable, or we don't believe that they are that immoral that they would actually set out and plot and plan and scheme and conspire to do some of the wicked things that they've done throughout history. Some people are like, nah, man, they wouldn't do that. They would never. No, come on, man. Y'all tripping, man. They would never, the government would never approve an experiment with black men where they intentionally inject syphilis into these black men, and they would carry this process on for years and years and years. They would never intentionally do that. Because the problem is when something is so evil, when you see something that's so evil that you know in your heart you could never do, you couldn't even imagine it until you saw that they had did it. So in your mind, you like, because you know you wouldn't do it, you're like, it's no way that another human being would do something like that. But guess what? There are people walking the earth who would not only do that, but things 10 times worse and have done 10 times worse. So who's the real mental patient when we talk about this whole thing? It's more than one mental patient. The small little cat that you see that carries out these acts, we can easily say, yeah, there's something wrong with him. Yeah, because true indeed. You're not normal if you go out and commit an act like that. You're not normal. But also, there are bigger acts that are committed on a bigger scale that you can totally look at and say, not only is that not normal, that's downright satanic. Straight up satanic. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example that we are all familiar with. One that we've heard mentioned many, many, many times before, but we don't go into the depths of it because the narrative has been so switched up that the lie has become the truth. So let's think about 9/11 for a minute, right? We talk about 9/11 all the time. 9/11, remember 9/11, remember 9/11. What happened on 9? To say, remember 9/11, right? So they ask us to remember 9/11. But what really happened on 9/11? That's the question that we got to ask. What is it that we really need to remember? Do we need to remember the lie that was told about 9/11? Or do we need to learn the details of 9/11 that they don't put forth and remember that? Because if we remember the details that they don't present to us, if we remember that, then once again, that'll turn our focus to this satanic mind who may really be responsible for 9/11, right? So raise your hand. Let's do another poll, y'all. We got a few more people in here. Let's do another poll. Yes or no? Was 9/11, in your view, whether it's based on facts, opinions, just your gut feeling, was 9/11 a terrorist attack from an outside nation? Yes, if it was a terrorist attack. Okay? Getting a bunch of no's. The no's are coming in. The no's, no one knows where the no's goes. We get some yeses. Hold on, we got a few yeses. I got to talk like an auction man. We got a couple of no's. Some no's coming in, and here come a yes. Here come a yes. We got a few more no's. Few more no's. Few more no's. Another yes. Another yes. Another yes. Not sure. See, that's honesty right there. Mountain climbers say, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's keeping it real. Okay. If you believe yes or no, if you believe that 9/11 was an inside job and that the government of the United States was in on it, say yes. If you believe it, say yes. Hit the yes Type in yes. See? Okay, now these yeses are coming in pretty strong. I got a definitely. Yeses. The yeses have it. Now the question is, y'all can keep on dropping your answers, because this is a small live stream. We don't have a lot of people on here, but it's amazing how the percentage of people that are just on this small number of people on this live stream, the majority believe that the government was involved in 9/11. Now, if there were 5,000 or 6,000 people on this podcast, I still believe that the yeses would still have the higher percentage. That's just me. But there are a lot of people who are still kind of had this mind frame that, no, the government would never do that. That was the terrorists. That was some Middle Eastern terrorists that flew those planes into that building, that made those airplanes fly into the building and hit the building at the top of the building, and then the building just did this. That don't even make sense based on the law of physics. So sometimes you have to just use common sense even before you get into the details. Now, the point I'm making is, again, many of us don't think that our government would do something like that. Why? Because the men and women who run the government are so righteous? We complain about politicians all the time, whether they be Democrat, Republican, or whoever. But it ain't about the faces that you see. That's the mistake that a lot of us make. We can talk about the president. We can talk about Trump. We can talk about Biden. We can talk about Obama. We can talk about Reagan. We can talk about Bush. It don't matter. Those are the faces that you see. But the government is run by the faces that you don't see. Did y'all know that? Who ever heard, who in here have heard of the shadow government? Have you heard the term shadow government before? So why is it called a shadow government? Why is it called shadow government? Because they in the shadows. They in the cut. They calling shots from behind the curtain like the Wizard of Oz. See? It's not about a president. But at the end of the day, it's all about the money and the wealth and the control. It's what it's about. So if you hear about or read about Larry Silverstein, don't know his name. Larry Silverstein was the guy who owned the World Trade Center. Now, prior to 9/11, it was reported that a couple of months prior to 9/11, he took out an insurance policy on the World Trade Center, like a couple of months before the attack, right? Before the attack, a couple of months. Pretty convenient that 2 or 3 months before the attack, the owner of the buildings would put out an insurance policy that had a terrorist clause in the policy. And when all of the smoke cleared, no pun intended, when the smoke cleared and everything was taken care of in court, Larry Silverstein had flipped his money. He flipped his investment and walked away with about $4.5 billion. what people do for money. Somebody say he made billions. You have $4.5 billion. The timing, you got to be just you got to have the best timing in the world. If you didn't do that on purpose, you just got to, whoa, man, I'm glad I took out that terrorist insurance policy 2 months before the attack. And the money he made was based on the fact that he hit the insurance policy up double because it was 2 buildings. So it wasn't like he like, hey, wait a minute. It was 2 buildings. Y'all gotta pay me twice. See? So the point I'm making again is that we don't believe that people will place agendas over life. People will put more value on wealth and money and agendas than they will put on human life. So the sacrifice of the how many people died in the World Trade Center? 3 or 4,000? 3 or 4,000, am I right? Who got the number? That's a small price to pay. They like, hey, look, we got 3 or 4,000. Look, we will twist the narrative. We will make them out to be heroes. We're gonna lose a few firemen and policemen. I don't worry about it. They'll be honored. They'll be here. Their families will be proud that they gave their life for this cause. Man, you got me messed up. See? But what was the other agenda? See, we talking about planned hits. All this is tied into the title. What was the other agenda? The other bigger agenda was, hey man, we've been trying to get this oil out of Iraq for a minute now. We've been trying to occupy this territory and get this oil for a minute. And we got to figure out a way to get it. How can we get it? We gotta rig up some type of conflict that will trick the American people into believing that a foreign nation has launched an attack on America, and that will make the people back in and support it and say, yeah, man, let's go get them. Let's go get them. So let's do this. You do that, let's do this. So now we go back into this. Why did the building do this? What made the building do this? What made the building get hit like this and do this? How many construction workers we got in the chat? What is the term used when a building collapses in this manner? What is the term? What is the term? I'll let y'all put it up. Thank you. The spot for Hip Hop TV. Controlled demolition. Survivors reporting that they heard explosives as they were getting down those stairs, getting out that building. Scientists reporting and revealing that thermite, an explosive substance, was found on the scene. So it had nothing to do with this. This was just a front. Whatever was going on was already planted and in place. Nah, man, my government wouldn't do that. My government wouldn't do that. See? Planned hits to carry out an agenda. Okay? Let's take it back. Vietnam War. A lot of people were opposed to the Vietnam War. A lot of people like, man, America shouldn't be over there in the first place. But America had an agenda. One of the people who ended up speaking out against the Vietnam War was Dr. Martin Luther King. So people were all right with him when he was just, okay, man, we fighting for civil rights. Hey, man, help us black folks out. We shall overcome. Yeah, I have a dream. But because what I said earlier, when you talk about an individual who has power and influence, and they start speaking against those agendas, he got to go. So Martin Luther King started speaking about against the Vietnam War. And shortly after that, he was gone. We're not going to let you play with our money because war is big business. It's like I told y'all last time. It's big business. Let's talk about the pharmaceutical companies, right? So we're going into all this stuff, man. Now you talk about, I mentioned this in a song because I had read it a few years ago, that in one particular year, in recent years, it was reported. Y'all double check and fact check me on the exact number, but I'm telling you what I read the report of. May not be actual. It was reported that in 1 year, 50 or 60 holistic doctors, herbalists, natural holistic doctors died in the same year. Now, I ain't the smartest dude in the world. Far from it. I would never allow anybody to think that your big brother is just the smartest guy in the world. I know what I know. And I know what I think I know, and I think I know what it is I think I know. But I don't believe in coincidence. And one thing about that situation, when you say 50 to 60 holistic doctors dying in the same year, what if you read an article that said 60 beekeepers died in the same year? That would seem kind of like, man, what are the chances of that? You would be like, what are the chances that 60 beekeepers all in the same year? What are the chances that 60 alligator wrestlers? Man, we got alligator wrestlers, just however many it is on the planet. And in 1 year, in different parts of the world, 60 alligator wrestlers died in the same year. Holistic medicine is not a mainstream practice. It's not. It's kind of off the cuff. It's kind of off the rails. It's different. It's underground. It's like an underground rap. It's underground. So for 60 of them, if that's the number, the actual number could be 30. That's a lot. And I don't believe in coincidence. But you have holistic approaches. You have individuals who come along and they urge and they push holistic healing as opposed to what? Pharmaceutical medicine, right? So now, just like I said, if you take an individual like Martin Luther King, who was opposing a war, he's opposing what? He's opposing a government agenda, right? Same thing. If everybody in the world decides to go, or even not everybody, but the majority of people start saying, you know what, man, this herbal holistic approach seems to be a good idea. Why don't we start to look into it and more people start to shy away from prescriptions? Nah, I ain't taking that because my grandma y'all had her on blood pressure medicine and now she all swole up and she worse off. My uncle was taking anxiety medicine and now he more messed up. And you don't just have him on one medication. You got him on 5 or 6. How many of us got the family member or know the person, the family or friend who got 9, 10 different bottles, prescription bottles laid out on the table or in the little pouch? Who got the auntie who got a pouch full of prescription bottles? She got just an assortment of them. See, everybody has known somebody like that, right? So when you are putting all of these chemicals into your system that are supposed to be for different ailments, you got this pill, this bottle for this bottle for that, this bottle. Oh, this is for my rheumatoid arthritis. Oh no, this is for my diabetes. Oh, this is for my neuropathy from my diabetes. Oh, this is for my headaches. Oh, this is for this is for that. This is for that. Can't be good for your body, man. You're poisoning yourself. So if somebody comes along and says, you know what? It's a better way to do that. There are approaches that we can attack one thing through these particular methods, and it can help to clear up multiple things. Then you find out that that's true, and they know all along that it's true, but it has to be stopped. You know why it has to be stopped? Because I read an article that stated that in between the year 2000 and the year 2018, that the pharmaceutical industry generated $11.5 trillion. I didn't say million, and I didn't say billion with a B. $11.5 trillion from 2000 to 2018. That's not even counting the last 4 years. That's just the article I saw. And this is a combined total revenue generated between 35 different pharmaceutical companies. Trillions. What's the American deficit? What's the U.S. deficit? What's the deficit of the United States right now? Where's the deficit sitting at? I know it's in the trillions. Can somebody put it up? Y'all got them high-tech smartphone. Just somebody ask Siri, hey, what is the United States deficit? How much is the United States? And somebody hit me with that right now. Ron Paul says 40 trillion. So if the deficit is 40 trillion and the pharmaceutical companies have generated almost 12 trillion in the last, probably it's more than that now, probably 15 or 20 trillion in the last 20 some years, they ain't far off of the national deficit. What else is generating that kind of bread? So anybody that comes along that kind of 60 holistic doctors, I don't even believe they could threaten that. You know why? But they killed him anyway. But you know why I don't believe they could even threaten that? That they were not as big of a threat as the government might have thought they was. I'm going to tell you why. Because the government has done a good job of convincing us, the people, that those medications are good for us. Some of us, you could have a friend that can tell you, oh, no, what's wrong with you? Oh, man, on the cool, man, all you got to do is, get you some warm water, hold your head down in it, get a banana peel, rub it across. Somebody could tell you that. You're like, man, shut up, man. And you'll go straight to the doctor, and the doctor say it, and you'll go, okay, yeah. Because we conditioned to believe everything that they say. Now, are they right? Do they know some stuff? Yeah, they know some stuff. As time comes, you got to go to the doctor and handle your business and do some things, you know, but on that grand scale, man, they messing you up. And I'm gonna tell you something that will hopefully make you understand that the doctor ain't always right, that the doctor is not all knowing, that the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry, the scientists, they not all knowing. Want me to tell you how I know? Because it's all based on something that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said. He said, the doctors don't live no longer than the patients. And when I first read that, I just laughed because I was like, why didn't I never think of that? Well, because I'm not him. But that's the proof. If the doctors are all wise, all knowing like they claim to be, but you look up, the doctor's dead at 70. The doctor's sick. The doctor done caught cancer. The doctor's 55 and messed up. The doctor done went crazy. The doctor, so he can't even save himself. How can he save you? He don't know everything that he claims to know. See? But that agenda, because in the doctor's lifetime, where does the doctor's revenue, what generates revenue for physicians? Name two things that generate revenue for physicians. I'm waiting. We in class right now, y'all. This classroom today. Y'all hit the like button while you're thinking on that. Catch them likes up with the amount of people that's in here. We got close to 100 folks in here. What helps to generate? What are the main two things that doctors bank on to make the big bucks? Well, two of the things. There are more. Okay, I saw one. Matthew Musa said prescriptions. Yeah. Returning patients. Yeah. Yeah, surgeries. Cutting you open and prescribing you medicine. So they continue to say, oh, what's wrong with you? My ear itching. I got a pill for that. What's wrong with you? My hair won't grow on this side. I got a pill for that. So to see all those herbal doctors die, this one got murdered. This one committed suicide. This one's in a car accident. This one is in a plane crash. This one's, just all kind of random stuff happening. If you threaten the agenda, got that target on your back. See? We have a real famous one that is no longer with us under some unexplained circumstance. Everybody talks about Dr. Sabi. Everybody's talking about Dr. Sabi, Dr. Sabi, Dr. Sabi. He cured this, he cured this, he cured that. Then all of a sudden they say, well, he died of some kind of illness. That's something that Dr. Sabi died from that he wasn't able to heal himself from? Or did they look at the rising popularity of Dr. Sabi and say, nah, this dude got to go? I want to shout out to Matthew Musa for the donation, man. I was running my mouth, but I saw you. Show me some love, and I appreciate that. See? We got to stop thinking that we are being governed by a holy and righteous system, by holy and righteous individuals. That's not who's governing this country. This country is being governed by Satan himself. Because the moves that he makes are satanic. They don't care about the people, especially the poor folks, not the poor folks, the poor folks. So going back to Buffalo, going back to Uvalde, with the school shooting and going back now to the situation that just happened in Oklahoma. But we'll deal with the first two I mentioned, or particularly the first one. Now, this is theory from some people. I read this, but it struck me as being interesting, but I'm not saying one way or the other that this is what I'm believing. It just was interesting to me. Now, who heard about the black brother who was doing security at the grocery store where the Buffalo shooting took place that had invented a engine that's fueled by water? He had invented an engine that was fueled, that needed water to run as opposed to gas, right? He was not the first person to have such an engine. That was an individual years before that had created a similar invention, a similar concept, where the talk was that if this particular engine gets implemented into the society on a mass scale, it will replace the need for gas, for people to use gas in their cars, because your car can now run off of water. Now, to hear that, and you are in the gas and oil industry, which the United States is heavy, that's the crack of the United States is oil. What will go through your mind if you look at that and say, wait a minute, if this happens, it's a wrap for us? It's the same principle when you compare pharmaceutical companies in the medical industry to herbal holistic medicine. You got this big machine and these underground cats down here trying to do it in a better way, in a more natural way. It's the same principle. Now you got the big oil industries looking at these guys that are making these engines that if people can connect on and jump onto this, it affects our bottom line and our agenda. So the first guy who did it back in the 80s, the 90s, what's the guy's name? Stanley Meyer. He was invited out to dinner one night by some investors that claimed to be friends of his. And all of a sudden, while he was eating his food, he started he didn't feel right. Something wasn't right. And he immediately clicked on and he just ran out of the restaurant saying, they poisoned me. They poisoned me. Look it up. He believed that they had set him up and poisoned him, because you're not finna come up with nothing that's gonna threaten our agenda. And he died. So now, fast forward, the new thought process is when people found out that the brother that was doing security in Buffalo had also created a similar engine like that, people were saying, well, man, this is the revisitation of that same concept, because he had received some notoriety off of it. Ain't like it with the high. Ain't nobody know he was doing it. Yeah, I saw the news clips where he was talking about it, and he was actually, getting out there. He had been on some platforms to demonstrate and speak about what he was doing. So I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I just don't believe in coincidence, and not just that. I just have learned in my OG age to not put nothing past these folks. Even if it might not be true, I ain't gonna put it past them. You believe that, K? I don't know if I believe it or not, but I wouldn't put it past them. See? You got to always be a I wouldn't put it past them type of person. That protects you from being naive. I don't know one way or the other, bro, but I wouldn't put it past them. See, once you know the devil, you ain't gonna put it past them. So when you go back to the theory of mind control, okay, well, you know what? Hey man, go in there and get rid of that guy, but do it under the umbrella of you going up shooting up a lot of other people. That's one theory. The other theory is he just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and this mentally ill, radical zealot who had been influenced by these racist militia concepts, he just went in and did what he did. That's a cut and dry basic theory also, and maybe the brother just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Let me see what y'all talking about, man. Because I know I've been running my mouth for a mighty long time. Lowixo. How about that new creature they found on the bottom of the ocean in Australia that is over 77 miles big? I haven't saw that. I don't know. Mr. Jones says Afghanistan found to have the largest lithium reserves, over 1 trillion. Yeah, this America are resource jackers. Y'all out there jacking people for rims and stealing purses and all that. They jacking resources from whole entire nations. The brother's name in Buffalo, his name was I got his name wrote down. His name was Aaron Salter. Okay. See what y'all talking about, man. Some guy in South America also got killed for making an electrolysis engine. Yeah, they don't play about their drugs and their oil. They don't play around behind that, bro. Our infrastructure budgets are digital banking companies liquidating control. We're gonna talk about guns, boy. That's a whole other subject. We don't have time to get into guns. You want to divide a room, start up a gun conversation. Charlo P. Jr. says that whole attack was about that brother. And I've heard that. I can't definitively say, but I've heard that. That's why I brought it up, Charlo. That's why I brought it up. See? Planned hits, man. The United States CIA. See, crack cocaine was a planned hit. See, we always think about planned hits being assassinations, like we're gonna snipe this dude from across, we're gonna be in a building in a window and we're gonna snipe John F. Kennedy. We think of a plan, Martin Luther King, we're gonna catch him at the Lorraine Hotel walking out and blah. Planned hits come in many forms. Like when the man thought that he was poisoned, one of the main methods that these governments use to take people. It's not always bullets. They'll poison you in the smoothest way. They'll down your plane. Make it seem like, oh, unfortunate. See? In the smoothest ways. A planned hit. Crack cocaine was a planned hit, but it was something that all hits, all assassinations are not immediate death. Some are pushed out over a period of time. And in the case with crack, we talk about decades. See? A planned hit. A planned hit. Specified and geared towards a certain people. You're going to put the crack in the hood and kill all these black folks. We'll put these guns out here and make these black folks kill each other. We'll let them kill each other with the crack. We'll sell it to each other. We'll smoke it with each other. It's a hit. That's an assassination attempt. It's an assassination attempt, a planned hit, and genocide all rolled up into one. See? United States of America, man. Cold-blooded. And anybody that comes along, see, that's why they'll threaten you to get you right first. And if you shut up, they'll leave you alone. But if you keep going, if you got some coconuts, then you'll have a war on your hands. See, one time the beef industry punked Oprah Winfrey. Big bad Oprah Winfrey with all her billions. She got punked by the beef industry, the meat industry, because she did a show where she documented on the inhumane practice of how they slaughter the cows that they use and sell in the markets, mixed in with how the consumption of beef is not really good for human consumption. So she came into that understanding of all that. And her being Oprah, she felt like, oh, I'm going to report on this. But you start playing with their money. We make billions and billions of dollars off of making people eat this cow, making people eat this pig. Hello? Can I speak to Oprah? Yeah, you know who this is. Hey, chill out on all that anti-beef talk. All right? Tell you one time. All right? I was into that. She didn't make no more shows about that. Because some people, they know where their bread is buttered. And they don't test, they don't play with massa. They don't play with it. Some of us be like, man, who is this? All right. Okay, well, watch what I do tomorrow. All right. All right. You know, mom and dad, I ain't gonna tell you no more. I ain't gonna tell you no more. Whatever threatens their interest becomes their enemy. And it must be removed. Plain and simple. Cody Townsend, I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate the donation, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So I believe that there's truth in everything that I listed on this title. I believe that mental illness plays a role in some of the things that we see, that we're seeing, that are picking up. I believe that there's mind control activities that are carried on by government. I believe that as well. See, there are technologies that we're not even aware of. High level technologies of the mind manipulation that we're not even aware of, man. Because we function on such a low level, we vibrate on such a low level, on such a base animalistic level that we can't even conceive the notion that the mind has the abilities to even go into somebody else's mind and manipulate like that. And a naive mind can be manipulated like that. See? I also believe that, yeah, there are dissatisfied, disgruntled, angry citizens of this country who have this delusional thought that our country is being taken from us. Taken from y'all by who? The blacks, the Mexicans, and the overpopulating. We got to get rid of them. Whatever we can do, we got to level these numbers off. See? That's a factor. That's a fact that there are people who have that fear and that belief. So I believe in elements of everything that I listed. They turn into the rebels, the radicals. Drop your locations, man. Where y'all at, man? Where y'all at, man? Drop your locations. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I didn't even have to ask y'all to put me over 100 likes tonight. Y'all already got your boy up on there. Let me shout y'all out, man. Los Angeles in this thing. Bay City, Melbourne, Australia. Wisconsin. K-Town. What's K-Town? What city is that? Joel. What city is K-Town? K-Town. Australia. Conroe. Joyful Noise, the first one in here tonight. Is that Belgium? Treasure Coast, Florida. Florida again. Portland, Oregon. Alabama. What up, Jimmy? Well, shout all y'all out, man. Utah. Stafford in this thing. Utah again. Is that Nashua, New Hampshire? Oh, K-City, Kansas City. Okay. Kansas City. That's K-Town. Southeast Texas, Arizona. 7 Mile, Detroit in the building. Seattle, Cali. Kansas City, Missouri. South Africa. Man, I get a lot of love in South Africa, man. Y'all got vaccine mandates in South Africa? I want to come over there if y'all don't. ATX. ATX again. Brussels. That's Belgium, right? Brussels. That's where my homie Lean Sipper is. St. Louis. What is that? What is I? Brooklyn's in the house. Kerrville, Texas. Denver, Colorado. H-Town, what's up? Angela. Zawaji, Muhammad, Southeast. Panhandle. Grab Texas by the panhandle and slap you with the whole state. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Orange Mound up in this thing, man. Memphis. Champaign. Atlanta by way of Dallas, Fort Worth, Funky Town. Kerrville, okay. Ashland, Kentucky. Kentucky up in this bad boy tonight. How do I live a sober life? Stop doing the things that intoxicate you. It's that simple. If you're drinking, stop drinking. If you're smoking, stop smoking. Then you'll be sober. That simple. Oaktown, man. What is this? Bow before Elon. Bow before Elon. Is that the name of the place, or you giving an instruction? New Hampshire. We everywhere tonight, man. Austin, Texas. Big Bluesy out there in Austin. Train your brain to produce joy naturally. OKC. Assalamu alaikum, brother Chris. Ooh, I see brother Chris in here. That make me want to go a little longer, man. When I know I got some backup up in here. My brother. Cape Town is Kerrville. Okay. Good looking out. Kerrville, Texas. Magnolia Park, H-Town. D-Town. Okay, we got a D-Town. Iraq. Leroy, you in Iraq? Leroy Brown. You remember that song they made about you? Bad, bad Leroy Brown. The baddest man in the whole darn town. Third Ward. ATX, I see your back porch. Salute. Billy Fly. South Park up in this thing, man. That's my brother, man, from way back. How far back we go, Billy? Billy Fly, how long me and you been knowing each other, man? How long we been knowing? How long me and you been partners, Billy? Let the world know. Illinois up in this thing. Shout out Third Ward, Mo City. I can't remember what song I said that on Zawaji. I just know I said it. Louisiana, there we go. That's right. Bad, bad Leroy Brown. They made a song about you, bro. Man, don't get me started on Herschel Walker, bro. Oh my gosh, don't get me started. South Granville, Australia. Y'all still keeping them coming, huh? Bad, bad Leroy Brown. Lamarck, Texas. Dollar bill. Chocolate Bayou. Ooh, South Park Boulevard. Better known as MLK now. New York. New York. The devil over you with a pitchfork. Indiana. Man. Is that MOC? What is that? Mo City? What is that? Man. Send me an email, Angela. Indianapolis up in this thing, man. The whole point of me talking about all this tonight, man, is just basically just to tell y'all, man, look, there's no one truth. There's multiple things that can be true at the same time. It's like a lot of things can be a lie. We have to learn, we have to become skilled in the art of extracting the truth out of a thing, because we live in a time where so many different philosophies and viewpoints that it confuses the people, because this person is saying this is the truth, this person is saying this person is saying it's that. There's no one definitive thing. It could be a combination of things, but don't let yourself go crazy getting caught up and mixed up in all these different thought processes, because guess what? I'm not going to say that. All right, man, I think I've got it all out, man. Much love to y'all. I appreciate y'all as always, man. I told y'all I wasn't gonna hold you long, and I meant it, man. Peace.